Sonic Beats.
All right, we're back. Hey, Peyton, did you watch the big race this weekend?
I watched absolutely none of it.
Did you not go down there?
I did not go to the Indy 500. I went last year, the year 2022. It was a lot of fun.
Was it any different than the year 2012, or is it still the same thing?
Oh no! So I didn't have anything to compare it to. When I did go, I had a lot of fun though. I had a great time, and I can't believe I actually watched the entire race.
You
I
actually watched
watched
the race?
Yeah, well, last year I watched the entire race, the entire Indy 500, and it flew by. I mean, I genuinely don't know how I sat there because I hate racing. Like, we didn't grow up. We didn't grow up watching racing. I mean, if there was racing on a TV, I left the room actively. I avoided it. There was nothing.
So tell me about your experience for those who are listening who maybe haven't been or are thinking about going, or just when did you go down?
So I went, what was it, June 2022 to the Indy 500. And, I mean, people that go consistently love it. Like, I didn't realize the culture behind the Indy 500. I mean, the amount of people I heard this year and last year talk about how it's their Christmas. And they mean it. They genuinely mean that the Indy 500 is their Christmas.
People go crazy. People go crazy.
I mean,
it's a big deal.
They're talking about, Christmas Eve, and I'm seeing all these posts online, and, happy Merry Christmas to everybody on my favorite day, and like they take their kids, and it's like a tradition that's passed down. And I was so immersed in it that I loved it. I had a great time. The tailgate was amazing. Everyone was super nice, super friendly. My buddy and I actually, probably about an hour before the race started, we just walked around the track, just talking to people, just saying hi to random people, giving people high fives, and just literally starting a conversation with anyone that was low enough.
Do you want to hear a crazy? Do you want to hear a crazy statistic?
Please, yes.
So inside the track, inside the track
of the Indy 500,
yes, you can fit all 14 football stadiums of the Big Ten.
Really?
Yes, you can like that. That track is
all of it.
That track is massive enough that you can fit 14 Big Ten football stadiums all in there, right in the middle, right in there.
See, that's that's insane to me because one, I can't imagine that. Two, there is a rave in the middle of the track every single year.
Yeah.
There is a rave. It's called the Snake Pit for anyone who's not aware. And it's basically a massive college rave. And you just go I mean, there is a rave.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I keep repeating that, but I can't comprehend that in the middle of all this festivity and like family, oriented fun time or whatever in the Indy 500, there is a full-blown rave. No one's paying attention to the race. No one in there gives a shit about that race. They've forgotten it's existed for the 4 hours that they're there, being surrounded by that noise constantly.
Yeah.
And they do it. I mean, just the full-blown rave. I mean, there's drinks in there. I mean, you can do whatever you want. And you just forget about it. You just and no one outside of the Snake Pit even knows it's there.
Yeah.
It's insane. It's probably,
it's massive.
How many people are there? 10, 20,000 probably in the middle.
It's absolutely nuts. Absolutely
but total,
insane.
they said, I heard 300,000 in attendance. I would bet there were 200,000 more just there to tailgate and just showing up.
So you've been in the Indiana area for your entire life.
Yes.
And had no idea how big race day was.
No. And the funny thing is I brought up the Indy 500. I can't remember who it was. The other day, I was like, "Yeah, you guys thinking about going to the race this weekend?" And they just looked at me and they're like, "The what?" And I was like, "The Indy 500," and I was blown away that they hadn't even heard of it yet. Like for half the state, I mean, that is the day of the year, and it's a shared experience. I mean, it is that huge.
Yep.
And that was me. I had no idea. And apparently, there's like marathons. Like my boss ran in the Indy Mini. The other week beforehand, because it's like also part of the Indy 500 festival. You run through the track. It's wild stuff, man. I mean, it's crazy, but it was so fun. When I went, it was such a good time.
So yeah, I absolutely am not a race fan.
No, not at all.
Dislike it. Been down there to, in my youth, younger days.
Oh, do you win?
Oh, a long time ago.
Oh, I didn't know.
Long time ago.
We learned about each other on the Bear. Podcast.
Went with a brother of mine, and it was. I didn't have fun. No, I did not enjoy myself.
Really?
No.
What didn't you like? You just didn't like any of it? I mean, well, you're not like a.
No. Okay,
know.
so
you have fun, but you're not like
I'm not a. No. I get it. I know what you're saying. It had nothing to do with I like a good box social every once in a while, and I like to go out and have a good time. But two things. I do not camp. I like being outdoors, but then I like to then recede into the modern technology and modern society once I'm done. I'm like, okay, cool. I've been on the lake. I've been in the woods. I've partaked in Mother Nature, but now I want to go sleep in my Egyptian goose down, feathered bed, and I want to have a very pleasant night's sleep, and I don't want to be out there in the elements. Last thing I need to do is wake up with 50 million mosquito bites because they come after me. I got rich blood. Well, they come after me so hard. So between that and the same thing with my partying. I want to go out, have a great time, catch an Uber back, and
you're done. Yeah,
and I'm done. I just shut her down. And the funny thing about it is I was even this way when I was a lot younger. Back when my partying days started, I didn't want to crash at anyone's house. Mm-hmm. I didn't want to do all of these things. So I always tried, however best way, to get back home or to not be in a situation where I had to and believe me, didn't always work. And there was bachelor parties and things like that nature where I had to wake up gross, nasty, hungover, and all kinds of nasty stuff. But on the whole, that doesn't appeal to me in a sense of let's get down, let's party. But I am then done. And I am not super inclined to get really hot.
That's fair.
Baking in the sun and all of that stuff, especially now at this age, that sounds
that's fair because
terrible.
I actually a year ago, 2 days ago, I still have my tan line from the Indy 500.
You need to go
I have
look
the
at
same tan line from the Indy 500.
That's sun poisoning.
That did not go away.
You should go look at a dermatologist. You can go find one and see what's going on.
It's okay. I'll get a good tan this summer. It'll be good. It'll go away. It'll even out.
Sure. Just putting layer of skin cancer on skin cancer.
But quick question. I didn't camp at the Indy 500.
Yeah.
But you said you weren't a fan of camping.
Yeah, some people do. Some people make it their
I'm
entire
not a
weekend.
Fan either. I hate camping.
No, some people make it their entire weekend.
Yes. No, we are of the same mind.
And then
I'm ready to go
home. But then on race day, it just
either way you got to get there at 5 a.m.
Yeah, I just no, that sounds awful. It's fine. To those who enjoy and partake, have a blast. But that's the thing is you talk to me about I love to go to football games, go to Notre Dame, the Colts, anything like that. I love this. I love partying, love going down the street and having a good time around the stadium. This is all good stuff. But you know what happens is I'm not stuck in an infield with X amount of thousands of people in the hot blazing sun.
I didn't even think I would watch. I was 100% convinced last year that I would go and drink and not go inside. That was my plan, was to just tailgate for 6 hours, which sounded great to me. That sounded fantastic. Somehow I got drugged inside, and I sat there for that whole race. And I don't know if it was the alcohol or the fact that I was so delirious from the sun, But I sat through that whole thing, and it flew, man. It was great.
I'm sorry. There's never been a racing experience except for like those short races, like the quarter-mile drags and things like that. But I'm sorry, man. There's just also and again, I get everyone. Some people like their cucumbers pickled. This is do your own thing, but watching cars go in a circle. And believe me, my father-in-law is a huge racing guy, and it's just I just don't get it. I don't get it.
Hockey,
it is not entertaining to me.
Baseball and racing are three things I've never understood that people watch on television.
Well, on television, absolutely.
On television, I want to make that clear.
Absolutely not. I can understand hockey. I can understand hockey, but what's weird about it, though, is there's times where I enjoy watching golf on TV.
Okay, I'll watch golf.
Yeah.
And see, people will look at me weird for that. I love watching golf.
Like sometimes when it's like the U.S. Opening or the Masters or something on that Sunday, and then like it's sitting there and you're staring down the barrel of like 1:30. You just had some lunch. And you get a nice nap in, and then you get a nice nap in,
and you wake up and it's still going.
Yeah, it's still going, but like it got to the good stuff. It got to the good stuff, and that's it, man. That's a good afternoon.
That's magical.
And that's the thing is like I could sit there, especially on TV. I could sit there. I get every football season. I get the red zone. I get the Colts game up on another monitor. Like I got all bunch of things going, and I'm in all day. The minute you put on racing,
I'm out.
Baseball,
I'm leaving.
I know you're not going to like this, but I'm not watching soccer on TV. Not watching. See,
I'll watch the heck out of some
not watching soccer on TV.
It's got to have some stakes to it. I can't just throw on soccer. Like I watch the World Cup. If you throw on the World Cup, I will happily indulge for all day.
Usually I'll only watch the World Cup if it's USA. Go USA, and like the title match.
Okay, that final match of this most recent World Cup was amazing. That was absolutely incredible, and I am so happy to have watched it.
I am so happy for the rest of the world, but soccer's not the best. It's just not. It's just not. But no, I'm all day in football. I usually don't watch regular season NBA. I'll catch good playoff matches.
I'm not even watching playoff NBA.
It's not been good recently.
Now I have
college, obviously college.
March Madness.
March Madness is awesome, and then I'll watch some teams. I'll sprinkle in some teams throughout the. But what's bad about college basketball is I don't pay attention to it until February, because with football going on, I'm not diverting my football watching for college football.
No, you shouldn't.
And so basically, which leaves the summer open to me because I don't watch baseball.
Yeah.
So basically, once the like I haven't really been watching the NBA, so quite open for the family, quite open for the partaking in the summer aspects, lake, pool, and all that good stuff.
That's what's missing right now is legitimate sports. That's the early summertime without football has been really itching me the wrong way.
But that's why I love the draft so much. They give you a little taste, little hope, little taste, little hope, but then you can go on with your summer because that's what you should be doing during the summer.
Yeah, but here's the problem.
You should be out enjoying because again, we live in Indiana. So you need to go out there, you need to partake in the weather while it's good. And it's a good time. Everyone's out. It's, birds chirping, sun shining, fresh cut grass.
I agree with that.
And it's great. And then late August barrels down. Kids go back to school. Summer's winding down. And all of a sudden, college football starts up late August, NFL early September.
There's nothing like it, man.
And then you come to the best part of the year, which is the fall. The fall is the best.
I agree,
football 100%. Weather here is like perfect. You have the warm climate with cool breezes. Like it's just fall weather. It's the best.
It actually turns out this is a long ad for Indiana.
Yeah,
It's recruiting
it is
everyone
so good.
for Indiana.
Oh, trees are beautiful. People are so nice. And like, but that's the thing is, then you go in, you have football, you have all the best holidays popping out, and it's just a great time. It's just a great time, which then leads to the drudge. Of winter after all that stuff's over. But that time period, basically summer ends, and then you have the best time of year.
And then it just starts again. Well, see, the
the
problem
cycle continues.
I'm yearning for football right now. Like every time it gets to this time of year, it's like 9 o'clock at night on a weekday. I got nothing else to do. What I'm doing now, football highlights from last year. Like that's my YouTube feed, right? Oh no, fumble! No, no. I'm watching. I probably watched the Vikings versus the Bills from last year about 10 times already.
Oh no, and that's the thing is
the Lions. Obviously, I've been watching them.
You have right now the OTAs going on. And it's just hope right now. Dude, I have never been so entrenched in and just knowing what a rookie quarterback is doing in voluntary OTAs. Like, ooh, he threw 7 balls.
Ayo.
And 6 of them were completions. And you're like, whoa.
That's my guy.
And then he had like a 60-yard bomb down the field. And no one's wearing pads, but look at that arm. And I'm in. Hook, line, sinker. I need to know. Kevin Bowen, shout out to Indianapolis. Give me the scoop. Scoop it up for me, dude. I'm all in.
I got something for you.
Fire away.
What do you think of Pat McAfee going to ESPN?
I'm not a fan. I'm a fan.
No? Get quick Cliff Notes version. Tell me why.
Well, I'm a longtime Pat, and I think he's great, and I think he'll be fine.
All the homies love Pat
on ESPN, and I try to be supportive of if he thinks that's the best, if he thinks that his show isn't going to deteriorate in any sort of way, but it's hard to see under the umbrella of ESPN how that doesn't happen at least a little bit, and right. I love the Pat McAfee show. I think it's fantastic. Been a long time since the beginning, back when he was doing the Route 69 comedy tour, and then
he had that cramped little studio.
Yeah. No, and all aboard, and the way he supports the town of Indianapolis and the things he does, I'm trying to be very supportive of it. I particularly don't like it. Because again, I'll give him the benefit of his face value, but it doesn't, he himself has talked about ESPN and how he wouldn't jump ship, and it kind of flies in the face of that, which is disappointing. And as a fellow Hoosier, I really like his platform now, what he's been able to do, and the guy's awesome. The guy obviously has a mind for the game, has been doing his own thing for a while, but then, once you go under kind of a corporate umbrella, I not to the degree, obviously, but, working the difference between working for a large corporation or a mom and pop family owned business, which I've been a part of both, and you have restraints. There's shareholders involved. There's a lot of people that are going to try to manage your show, and you can rebuke a lot of that stuff, but eventually after time, that stuff's going to start creeping in. Their culture is going to start creeping into that show, and I'm a little trepidatious about it.
Well, I think the thing is, it's going to be a constant battle between that cast, that group of people in ESPN, because how far is too far? Let's say ESPN tries to limit them.
It's the same fight he had with Barstool. Him and Barstool, their partnership broke up because they tried to stifle him a little bit, and good on him and what he's been able to do after that, and he's put together a heck of a show. Again, it's really groundbreaking.
Well, I think if we look back, it would be easy to see coming, though, because he started doing a lot more game days. he started doing a lot more ESPN. They started getting him, featuring him a lot more. Maybe they were doing a test run, like how their numbers would do with him just being him. Like maybe, but that's what kind of gives me hope about that whole situation, is that I think they tested that out with him being unapologetically himself without giving him his own show to see how their audience would respond.
Yeah.
Because ESPN is not the Pat McAfee show audience.
But this is the thing about it, is ESPN needs Pat McAfee more than Pat McAfee needs ESPN. And the thing about it is, they probably, backed up the Brinks truck and at least initially promised him all the creative control and none of the differences, and still keep his platform up on YouTube and free for people, which is great. Which is, again,
it's kind of insane, actually.
Yeah. It's pretty awesome, and it's kind of it's hard to turn that down, obviously, and I don't know if I'd be able to. Like if we got offered by ESPN to talk about nonsense for $1 quadrillion, I don't know if we'd be able to say no. Yeah, but again, ESPN needed him more. ESPN is a failing brand, and I know we talked about Disney, a couple episodes ago, but that's a huge thing. Like ESPN used to make stars. Now ESPN has to go out and buy stars, and that's the difference. Like ESPN doesn't have the cultural effect that it used to because people are going elsewhere, because ESPN is kind of trash. And they need him. They need him because of what he brings. He brings in a youthful audience, and he has a particular voice, which I think is a smart move. For ESPN, I just don't know in the long term if it's the best move for Pat.
Well, I also think ESPN was bound to fail long term, because how often can you just oversaturate the market with the same thing? And it's new shows constantly live, just talking about the same sports, which, I mean, we have a lot of sports, but I mean, to talk about the same stars and the same problems. And at that point, they got to start extending and overreaching into certain topics that don't involve them or sports. And, it's going to create a stale product, in my opinion. Like, there's a lack of diversification when it comes to, I mean, the only time I watch ESPN is if they're hosting a game. If there's live games on there. That's about it, though.
Yeah, but I think essentially what we're wrong with ESPN is essentially the debate format, just like with cable news, is the debate format has taken over a lot of airtime, and instead of actual good debate, they have pre-made topics. They are just people barking at each other and not really saying anything, and that could only go on so long. Like, back when Stephen A. used to chirp at Skip Bayless all the time.
Well, it's exhausting.
And pardon the interruption with, is still going on with Wilbon and Kornheiser. Like, they had some stuff, but, like, those shows are old. They've been going for a while.
Well, it's also exhausting. I mean, I hate watching toxic sports debate. I mean, it's just it doesn't entertain me. It's like reality TV. It does not.
It's also they go by what drives ratings. So basically, you're going to get football, which is good. I like football, but then they're going to talk about 90% the Dallas Cowboys, or right now maybe like the Chiefs or something. But basically, spend 5 days on 3 teams, and anytime.
Or Deshaun Watson for 16 weeks in a row.
Yeah, or anytime that the Dallas Cowboys sniff anything in the NFL, they're going to be on it, and it's literally going to be 8 hours in one day of pure Dallas talk, and you're just like, okay. And I get it, you have to fill time, understand, very plausible, but like, how much times? And that's the thing is, that these dudes, that they're sitting there like, man, I don't want to debate Dallas. Like, what are they debating? Like, should the Dallas Cowboys cut their third string kicker, or should they then invest in a second long snapper? And you're like, that's not a debate. That's terrible. And then a lot of times, a lot of people's politics get into there, and you're like, okay, I really don't want to know about Dallas's third string quarterback and what you agree or disagree with his politics. And you're just like, okay, like that has no
now they're
interest.
Out. They're done.
Yeah,
they're
no
done.
interest to me. And then also when you do that is you take one side that doesn't maybe agree with the politics that you're trying to push, and you push them away, and they're like, you know what, I'll watch my bland, terrible sports debate somewhere else.
Yep. Well, how many times do you think they've talked about whether or not LeBron James is the GOAT? You want to do an over-under? I kind of want to see if there's a statistic out there that talks about it.
Oh, it literally comes up weekly. It's
you think so?
It's basically they have a pie chart, and they're like, oh, we got to fit in a 5-minute section on the NBA because we haven't done enough this week.
Is LeBron James the GOAT?
And they're like, oh, LeBron James, took a deuce in his, Hollywood home. Is he the GOAT? And you're like, well, I mean, it was a heck of a deuce, but I still think MJ's better. I mean, I know MJ's better.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah, MJ's definitely the GOAT. Like, I don't even think it's a debate. Like, I'll give LeBron,
top 5.
Yeah, I'll give him top 5. He might be on the Mount Rushmore, but like, he ain't the GOAT. Like, that's
and like to think that that's like an insult. Like, oh, LeBron James is on the Mount Rushmore of basketball, but he's not number 1. It's like, ugh.
Oh, yeah. And not to mention, no one the GOAT comes out and says like, oh, yeah, no. MJ had a whole documentary during COVID made about him, and it's just like
MJ kept me sane during COVID. I mean, that was
MJ. Thank you for keeping us sane during COVID. But like, yeah, no, like everybody just know, like people that know just know MJ's the GOAT. Like the guy is just the man. Always has been. Always will be. And it's just the conversation's ludicrous. It's absolutely asinine and ludicrous. It's like why are we're just again? It's only brought up just to debate because they have nothing else to debate about.
That's
like what else are they going to debate? Like who's better?
Who's better shooter, Steve Kerr or Steph Curry?
Like no one cares about that. Or like, it's like, oh, NBA ratings falling again. Should we watch the NBA debate? Like, like what are they going to debate? Like, honestly, it's. I mean,
their words also don't matter. They're kind of like ours. They don't matter, right? It's like their words don't matter. They're not changing anyone's minds,
Well, no, they're placating to just like politics. They're base. Like you're placating to the youths who have no idea. And
right. Well, I think that's where SportsCenter thrives. Is honestly Twitter. I've seen more SportsCenter on Twitter than TV. I mean, I feel like that's the
but that's not helping. That's not helping ESPN. That's not driving viewership over to.
No,
I mean, there's been a lot of cancellations of.
It just helps, I think, to maintain some sort of relevancy. To have Stephen A. Smith pop up on the timeline and just ranting about something.
Oh no!
Ludicrous.
Believe me, yeah. Social media obviously drives, but like if it's not providing subscriptions or more eyeballs or people not disconnecting from cable. I disconnected from cable like a long time ago. Like I've been completely internet driven and digital for a long time.
Good.
Yeah, I don't need that. I just need my red zone about 4 months a year and my local channels and maybe a few of the non-local channels to get the games I want. But other than that. I think we're done.
Now.
Yeah, we'll shut her down. But hey, been another great day on Bear Island. Peyton, thank you again
thanks for having me,
hanging out, and till next time we're stranded.
Till next time.
We'll
see you guys
next time.